Hester.
And your surname is Rzewuska Paca. Do I say it right or?
Almost. It's Rzewuska Paca.
Okay, Eva Maria and I, we asked the trainers for this international intensive training, and we had our reasons to ask you. And one of the reasons, of two, is that you live in Poland, and we wanted someone from Eastern Europe. And for me, Poland is also associated with the countries that were not so rich as where I live in the Netherlands. And the other thing is that you are relatively young. So that was also something that adds something to the team that is, yeah, welcome. So how is that to hear?
It's amusing, I would say. Like when you said about Poland, I can clearly see how my experience and my background can be enriching both to the participants and also bring quite a distinct perspective into the NVC context. And I'll share about it a little bit in a moment. Well, in NVC, we talk about power with and how we can co-create together and really meet on eye level. Then we talk about power over and how this shows, and also giving away power or power under. And I have been looking at and pondering about how we can include people from various backgrounds without maybe not without, just in this really eye-level paradigm. And for me, NVC is a very powerful means, I would say, a tool even. Yeah, it's more than just NVC, but really NVC offers tools how we can do that.
Or there's also a culture gap between the highly educated rich people, and within this rich world where I live, there are also people who have not so much sources, financial sources, and live a complete different life and have complete different culture, which is really difficult to bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, my background, my history, or my history and the history of my people really lives in me and it is alive. So I was born under communism. So yes, I am younger than a lot of other NVC trainers who are trainers at IITs. And at the same time, I do remember queuing without really knowing what we'll be able to get, just to get anything, so that you could then exchange it for something that you actually need, because there was scarcely anything in the store. And also these little cards that gave you right to buy a little bit of meat and not more than that. I remember just getting shoes that were the only shoes available. So, you know, as a child, to get this was the shoes and that's it. Yeah. And I was lucky there was a size. So all of that, it's still in my system, so to speak. This is what I've grown with. And then I was 12 when the system changed. And well, I actually also remember my parents watching on TV when the Berlin Wall fell. Yeah. And I didn't understand at the time what it meant, but I could really sense the sacredness of the moment, that it was something really important going on. I also have this vivid memory. And then, you know, when everything started to change and started to shift, and the current system, capitalistic system, democratic system, started to be implemented in Poland. And one thing that I notice, you know, when I think about access, when I think about what is sometimes called the privilege, is that before 89, before the 90s, there was a lot of social how would I say it? Like coherence, like community. There was a lot of community spirit. Also, when people do not have access to resources, they need to depend on one another in ways that are not obvious, visible when we have money and we can buy things. Yeah, so I'd say I've experienced both worlds like that. Poland lost its independence for 123 years. The country didn't exist. It was divided between Russia, Prussia, and Austria-Hungary. So we have a history of being oppressed and for fighting for independence. And there is this spirit, I would say a wild spirit in the nation. So it's a very difficult nation to rule, as you can imagine, because, you know, it's like culturally, you do not trust the government. You don't trust the authorities. You know, you're always suspicious. But then there is, again, this amazing strength of coming together for a cause. So when things happen, the Poles will move. And I'm personally very proud of the Poles coming together to vote democratic government against the populistic government, against a lot of odds. So to me, this is something of a spirit that is very powerful.
Does it mean that you bring something to the IIT from your background?
I would say as a result of carrying this inherited, maybe even like inherited experience of being oppressed, I have been working with inner liberation, which is finding your strength, finding your resources, finding your power, finding your beauty within, regardless of the external situation and environment. And it is not only intellectual. I mean, of course, I can talk about it, but it is mostly embodied. So this is something that I found very powerful in my both learning NVC and then also sharing with others. And I have also used the different bodies of knowledge that I have incorporated into NVC practice, because for me, NVC is complete. It's amazingly elegant and simple. And I found ways how through the body awareness and different practices, you can access and unlock your emotions, tap into your needs, and then into the fullness of your needs and act from there. And when I talk about accessing your resources, another edge that I do bring, and I'm really proud of it, is the awareness of boundaries. In NVC, we talk a lot about needs, about sharing, you know, and finding solutions that work for all. And the reality is that when we go out there into the world among people who do not necessarily know NVC or even have the awareness of such possibility that the world that works for all is possible at all. Yeah, it's a win-lose game. I find that it is very beautiful if we can come with an open heart and bring this possibility, you know, and of finding, connecting to shared humanity, like tapping together in this sacred space. And at the same time, we need to know how to say no to behaviors that are hurting us or what matters to us. I am offering embodied practices. Tap into like this deep knowledge within what it means.
Yeah, I love that. So do I understand it right that coming from a culture that was oppression, that for you, finding strength in your source is important to come to eye level, and also it is important to experience boundaries and to indicate boundaries so that you take your space.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yes, absolutely. And what it means to really take your space against anyone, but for yourself and for what matters to you.
Yeah.
People who reach for power do not necessarily have the scruples or, kind of integrity, I would say. Yeah, they don't have the integrity that I would wish for. And then there are several people who I really admire for the wisdom or integrity that shy away from their power. And I really would like those of us who are connected to our needs and to the wholeness, that we all share and all lives shares, that we have the strength and trust, capacity and skill, to really take that power and act.
Personal power embodied.
Yes.
Well, the last thing I'm curious about is, do you like to work with beginners or people that are more advanced, or is it everything?
The first answer that came to me is that I like to work with people who are interested, who are curious. Yeah. And then it doesn't really matter whether they're beginners or advanced.
Yeah,
And
more experienced, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And at the same time, well, it is useful when you attend my workshops to have the basic understanding of NVC principles. I always give references to how what I'm sharing ties to the model of NVC, where we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like to go deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if someone likes to take a dive, I'm here. And they can be a beginner to NVC, but have a different background,
Also.
Understanding themselves. And then
yes, there are more ways to awareness. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And one more thing that I want to share in terms of what I'm passionate about. Really what I'm talking about, you said that you can really see that, because this is my life's work. And when I'm saying my life's work, this is something that has served me a great deal. And I just love sharing it with other people and witnessing how they open up, how they find gems within. And also what I'm really passionate about is looking at shame, guilt, and anger, because these are like the relationship with these three can be supportive or counter-supportive to being connected to personal power, to resources, and being capable to be in the world as we are, because we're all human. So we are never perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.